This universal form is attributed to the Lord. It is like a man on a pedestal being called the pedestal. The universal form situated in the Lord is called the Lord. This is the meaning.
The
What is
universal form situated in the Lord is called the Lord. Okay, so even though the universal form is material form cannot be the Lord, but still we call it like that.
what is seen? Drishtavyam, Drishyatvam. Who is controlled by the Lord is
What is controlled by the Lord?
What is controlled by the Lord is attributed to be the seer or the controller, the Lord Drashtari, who is actually invisible by foolish people, Abuddhibhihi. Though sky and air are invisible, we can see the sky because it is blue or the air because it is dusty. The adventitious qualities of cloud and dust which are visible are attributed to the sky and air which are actually invisible because they become visible through the clouds and dust. Thus, the meaning here is that the Lord visible as the universe is thus worshipped by the yogis situated at the beginning stage of practice.
Okay, so we usually tend to see what is visible and attribute the quality to that what is visible. So similarly, one way what is visible is the universe, and one may think the universe to be the Lord, but actually the Lord is invisible with the blunt senses. Okay, 32.
Just as yogis worship the visible form of the universe as the Lord, even though it is material, other yogis worship a subtle form of the universe as the Lord, even though it is also material. These forms are described later. Amuni Bhagvat Rupe Maya Te Anuvarnite Ubhe Apina Grananti Maya Srishte Vipaschita. The wise do not accept these two forms of the Lord described by me, since they are composed of matter. Bhagavatam 2:10-35. Vijnana Shaktim Mahim Amananti Sarvatmano Antah Karanam Giritaram Ashvatari Ushtra Gaja Nakhani Sarve Mraga Pashva Shroni Deshe. They say that the Mahatattva is his Chitta, Rudra is his false ego, horses, mules, camels, and elephants are his nails. All animals are his hips. Bhagavatam 2:35. The subtle form is different from the gross form of the universe. It is actually invisible or subtle Avyaktam because it is devoid of specific forms. Avyudha Guna Brahmitam. It does not have evolved hands and feet. Why? It is not like things with form, like you, I, or Indra, who can be seen and heard. Adrashta Shruta Vastuvat. What is the proof of its existence? The subtle body is the proof. The word Jiva should be understood to mean the imposition on the Jiva of the subtle body.
Okay, fine. So just like there is, so we have a gross body, subtle body, and then spirit soul. So similarly, even for the universe, the universal form, the Virat Roop also, there is a gross Virat Roop, there is a subtle Virat Roop. So therefore, you can see Rudra is false ego, the Mahatattva is Chitta. So there's also a subtle aspect to the universal form. And then there is the Lord Himself, okay, who is the soul of the universe, that is Garbhodaksha Vishnu. Okay, so he's explaining that. Okay, fine. It's okay. Okay, so now we'll proceed to the 35th verse. Universal, no questions on universal form, huh? That is in the second canto.
Means just want to clarify this word subtle, but sometimes means it is explained that Prabhupada in one sense explained that the form subtle goes subtle, then the Lord is a more subtler form. So there is some means there is a relation between the subtle form and the transcendental Brahmajyoti, or there is absolutely difference. Means sometimes Prabhupada explained the Lord is the most subtlest form.
Okay.
So because previously also we had seen that the gross body and the gross living entity has two subtle, gross and subtle, and then universal, gross and subtle. So I'm asking that the universal level, the subtle coverings or whatever, and the Brahmajyoti, there is relation something or they are fully different.
These are material, that is spiritual.
So when the word subtle is used for the Lord also sometimes.
The word subtle basically means that which is not visible. That is meaning of subtle. That which is not perceivable by our gross senses is what is called subtle. So even our subtle body, can we see? No, we can't see our subtle. Basically, anybody wants to see dictionary meaning of subtle? That is in the translation.
Difficult to detect or grasp by the mind or analyze.
Yes, difficult to detect or grasp by the mind intelligence. So it's something which we cannot perceive. That's the basic meaning of subtle. Okay, 35th verse. Evam janmani karmani hiyakarturajanasya cha vannayanti sma kavayo veda guhyani ripate. Thus, learned men describe the activity, births and activities of the unborn and inactive, which is undiscoverable even in the Vedic literatures. He is the Lord of the heart. Okay, so here is described the Paramatma, the Lord of the heart. So, the Lord has Janmani and Karmani, so he has birth and activities, although he is Akartu and is Ajanasya. So, although he is without activities, he is unborn, but still he takes birth and he has activities. So, this is all the inconceivable activities of the Lord. So, even though he does not take birth, but still he takes birth. And so, therefore, because all this is inconceivable, these apparent contradictions in the Lord. Lord has so many things which are apparent contradictions. So, therefore, Veda Guhyani, he remains Guhya. He remains very confidential because there are so many contradictory attributes to the Lord, very difficult for common people to understand. And of course, here when it is said that he has Janma and Karma, then obviously it means that they are not material, but they are spiritual. Therefore, Prabhupada writes in the purport. But the so-called appearance and disappearance of the Lord are not actions of the material nature, but are demonstrations of the internal potency of the Lord. Which is the verse from Bhagavad Gita? Okay, that is one verse. Yes, Ajopi Sannam Yatma Bhutanam Ishwaropi San Prakritam Swamadishtaya Sambhavami Atma Maya. Okay. So, therefore, towards the end of the purport, Prabhupada says, as a matter of fact, the appearance and disappearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his different activities are all confidential, even to the Vedic literatures. Yet they are displayed by the Lord to bestow mercy upon the conditioned souls. We should always take advantage of the narrations of the activities of the Lord, which are meditations on Brahman in the most convenient and palatable form. So now in the 36th verse, he is describing some of the characteristics or the qualities of the Lord of the Paramatma. Sarvaidam Vishwam Amoga Leela Srijat Yavatyati Na Sajjate Asmin Bhuteshu Shanta Vrita Atma Tantraha Shadvargikam Jigrati Shadguneshaha. The Lord whose activities are always spotless is the master of the six senses and is fully omnipotent with six opulences. He creates the manifested universes, maintains them and annihilates them without being in the least affected. He is within every living being and is always independent. So all these are the various qualities of the Supreme Lord. So Prabhupada explains the word Amoga Leela. Here he is called Amoga Leela, which indicates that there is nothing lamentable in his creation. Or in the word-to-word, Prabhupada says, one whose activities are spotless. Those who create disturbances in his creation are themselves disturbed. So what does this mean? There is nothing lamentable in his creation. Those who create disturbances are themselves disturbed. What does this mean? What's that?
Whenever somebody wants to bring some revolution material, that might they pass in the time. Revolution doesn't make any sense.
Okay, fine. That could be one understanding. Yes, true.
Material nature will punish them.
Okay, material nature will punish them. Yes, that's true. Now, what is the first of all, what is the meaning of this Amogalila? Spotless, or there is nothing lamentable in his creation. Yes,
Lord's creation is perfect.
Lord's creation is perfect. What do you mean? So, yes, you're correct, but what does it mean by perfect? Perfect number. Take it, somebody else. Anjana.
Yes. Sometimes we try to make some arrangements to defend the material, to change the material nature.
Mm.
Like in simple example, like the AC to
Mm.
for the outside heat.
Mm.
But the Lord's creation is perfect in his, the different arrangements which make they create problem for us only.
Mm-hmm. Okay, fine. Good example. Mm. Okay, sure.
So same thing what you said is like Krishna's creation is symbiotic in nature. So everything Krishna has planned very nicely
Mm.
for our maintenance, sustenance,
Mm.
how to reform us.
Mm.
Everything is perfect.
Mm.
So it is only when we try to exploit and think that okay I can make it more good for me.
Mm.
So then we create our own disturbance,
Mm.
global warming and so many
Mm.
disturbances.
Mm. Okay, fine.
Prabhupada gave an example of we eat banana,
Mm.
the peel goes in the cow, the cow takes the peel and they give the milk.
Mm.
So there is nothing need of doing any new thing, setting up all these things,
Correct.
economic development.
Correct. Yes.
Then there is some distresses, like Krishna says, Dukhadena Shashvatam.
Mm.
So the creation is so designed that a living entity transform here and go back to Godhead.
Mm.
The purpose. So the difficulties here, like Sukha, Dukha, and all these things are there, that is perfection, so we need not to change it or manipulate the nature to change it, other than Krishna says tolerate it,
Mm.
and they are the impetus
Mm.
for us to turn towards him and practice devotional service and go back to God.
Okay, good points. Yes. Somebody else? Yes, Guru.
Not lamentable in the sense that Lord has particular purpose
Mm.
to be set up.
Mm.
It is nothing like useless.
Okay, everything has a purpose. Okay, good point. Yes, Sadhu.
There was a law in Mahabharata Yuddha,
Ah.
but in our world wars there is no law. That's why.
So you mean to say that the Mahabharata Yuddha had a purpose by the Lord, but the world war had no purpose. That's what you're trying to say.
No, whatever Amoga Leela, you
Hmm.
said the meaning. Na?
Hmm.
Whatever Leela God has did,
Hmm.
there is nothing wrong in it.
Yes,
But
nothing
we
wrong.
we will try to
Hmm.
repeat the same, so we will lack it.
Correct. Yes, that's right.
So here the Samogila word is used in terms of creation, maintenance and destruction.
Hmm.
So Lord is not responsible for destroying. Someone may say, oh, Lord is so cruel to destroy everything.
Hmm.
But his actions of destruction is not to be questioned, not
Mm.
it is his Leela
Hmm.
based to facilitate the desires of the
Mm.
living entities.
Correct. Srila Prabhupada writes this beautiful statement in the purport to the invocation mantra.
Om Purnamalam Purnam.
Yes, that's the
All
verse.
the completeness
What?
is filled by the incompleteness.
Good, you read others' minds, huh? Huh? All forms of incompleteness are due to incomplete knowledge of the complete whole. So whatever is there in the creation is perfect, not lamentable. Everything is perfect. So if we see some imperfectness in the creation, it is only due to our incomplete knowledge of the complete whole. It is only due to our imperfect knowledge that we think ऐसा क्यों हुआ, वैसा क्यों, ऐसा होना चाहिए, वैसा होना चाहिए. No, but it's all perfect. It's all perfect. There is nothing lamentable. There is nothing wrong. There are no mistakes. It is all spotless. So, therefore, if we question why this is happening, why this earthquake, why this COVID, why this, why that. No. It is all perfect. From the Lord's viewpoint, it is all perfect. We may not understand the cause. We may not understand immediately why it is taking place. And that may be very difficult to understand. As Bhishma Dev says, even the greatest of philosophers cannot understand the plan of the Lord. So we may not be able to figure it out, but we have to have faith that whatever is happening in my life or in others' life, it is all perfect. Just think about it. If one has full faith in this, how peaceful one will be. Usually, why do we lament? Expectations unfulfilled. Correct. That's why we lament. But then, whether the expectations are fulfilled or unfulfilled, in either case, it is perfect. So we have to have faith in this. There's nothing wrong that happens in the creation. It is all perfect. Therefore, a devotee is peaceful because he understands this. Bhoktaram yagadvasam sarvalokamaishwaram suradam sarvabhutanam gyatva mancha. On one hand, he is Maheshwaram, he is the supreme Ishwar, he is controlling everything and everyone. But at the same time, he is not like a dictator who is simply a controller. He has so much of vengeance and so much of hatred and is controlling everyone, torturing everyone. So that is also one type of controller. But Krishna is also a controller. But what type of controller? Best friend. Best friend. Suradam Sarvabhuta. So can he do anything wrong to any of the living entities? If he's best friend? No. And I think so, I definitely told this past time about Srila Prabhupada's apparent bewilderment when there were some offences being committed in 1969. I told this guy. I'm sure I told you. No? Okay, now he says yes. Give the mic. Good.
Prabhupada was noticing that his presence as a ISKCON founder Acharya was being replaced with some of the main starting devotee disciples of him, and he wanted to rectify the situation, and for that he was removed some of the disciples who were being the path of this, and they have been sent out in the name of preaching.
Then, and the main part of the story is yet to come. Anyone remembers what happened after that? Okay, give Aditya.
So later on, Prabhupada reveals it to His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj that Maya has entered and it was done, but everything is under the control of Krishna. So it is something like that.
Okay, that's still a major part of the story is yet to come. Anybody else remembers? In bits and pieces. Okay, Satish, please.
They told Prabhupada to be the God. And
okay, that was a mistake they did. Okay. Then after that, what? Okay, fine. So then, when these offences were happening, and Srila Prabhupada was apparently disturbed because his preaching efforts were being hampered, and Srila Prabhupada apparently could not understand why this is happening. And Srila Prabhupada, in fact, went in front of Rukmini Dwarkadish at Los Angeles With tears in his eyes, he was praying, "My dear Lord, on the instruction of my spiritual master, I have come to the West to preach. But now, why are these things happening?" So apparently Srila Prabhupada could not understand. And then he was consulting Tamal Krishna Maharaj, and Srila Prabhupada expressed his desire to leave America and go somewhere else for some time. And so he was consulting Tamal Krishna Maharaj, asking, "So where do you think I should go?" So Tamal Krishna Maharaj was suggesting maybe Japan, maybe Europe, different places he was suggesting. Prabhupada was not satisfied. Finally, Prabhupada decided to come to India. And so, actually before that, Srila Prabhupada didn't have a very strong desire to actually come to India, because the instruction of his spiritual master was to go to the West and preach. So therefore, his idea was to, it already was, Los Angeles as the ISKCON's world headquarters, and preach in the West. That was his plan. But then Krishna had a lot of compassion on the Indians. And so therefore, it was after that that Srila Prabhupada, in the August of 1970, he came to India. So, and then he invited some of the other devotees also to come, and 14 devotees came on the 4th of October 1970. They landed in India. That was the first batch along with Giriraj Maharaj and the batch of devotees. So anyways, the point is that sometimes one may be bewildered, one may wonder why this is happening. But Krishna has a perfect plan. And sometimes we may not understand it immediately. Sometimes it's very difficult to understand, because, as Bhishma Dev says, even the greatest of philosophers cannot understand the plan. But if we have faith in this, that I may not be able to understand, but Krishna definitely has a plan. If we have faith in this, then we won't be too bewildered and we won't be too disturbed. Of course, we always need to take guidance from Vaishnavas in all such situations, but then we will not be too disturbed if we have faith in this, that whatever the Lord is doing is Amoga Leela, it is spotless. There is nothing lamentable in whatever is happening. If you have faith, then there is no cause for excessive disturbance. Right? And so yes, those who create disturbance in his creation are themselves disturbed. Yes, as some of you have given examples. So if you try to create some disturbance, then it backfires. So any type of disturbances in creation due to man's greed, so many disturbances people are creating due to greed, but then it all backfires in terms of so many different side effects. Okay, fine. And then other qualities are being mentioned, 6 opulences and right. Srijati, Avati, Atti. So he does all these activities, creation, maintenance, annihilation, but na sajjate. He is not affected by any of this, because he always remains aloof from the creation. So he is given an example, just like jigrati, in the word to word, jigrati, superficially attached, like smelling the fragrance. Okay. So now, so how to perfectly understand the Supreme Lord, now especially coming to the realization of the Bhagavan feature of the Lord. Okay, so finally he's coming to the Bhagavan feature. So he described about Brahman, Paramatma, now he's coming to the Bhagavan feature, that is the 37th verse. Nachasya kashin nipunena dhatur aveti jantu kumanisha bhuti namani rupani manovachobhi santan vato natacharyam ibhya. The foolish with the poor fund of knowledge cannot know the transcendental nature of the forms, names and activities of the Lord, who is playing like an actor in a drama. nor can they express such things neither in their speculations nor in their words. So in this 37th verse he describes who cannot understand the Lord. In the 38th verse he describes who can understand the Lord, especially talking about the Bhagavan feature. Okay, so in the 37th verse he is saying that those who are kumanisha, poor fund of knowledge, those whose intelligence is poor, they cannot understand the uti, namani, rupani. They cannot understand the activities, the name, forms, qualities. None of this they can understand by mano-vachobi, mental speculation or deliverance of speeches. So those who are kumanisha, those who are agnya, they cannot understand. Why they cannot understand? Because the Lord acts like natacharyam, nata. He acts like an actor. And so because he acts like an actor, how does he act? Like an ordinary human being. Guda kapata manusha. Shaunakadi Rishi is saying. Guda kapata manusha. So he acts like an ordinary human being, and so people get bewildered, and so therefore there are so many people who think that Lord is like an ordinary human being. So, but it is only nata, is only acting. So therefore, Prabhupada is explaining that no one can properly describe the transcendental nature of the absolute truth. Therefore, it said that is beyond the expression of mind and speech. So, by mental speculation, all that one cannot understand. So, further down he's writing, and for all these men, that means the karmis and the jnanis. So the karmis and jnanis, by their mental speculation, they cannot understand. For all these men, the absolute truth is a mystery, as the jugglery of the magician is a mystery to children. Being deceived by the jugglery of the Supreme Being, the non-devotees who may be very dexterous in fruitive wealth and mental speculation are always in ignorance. With such limited knowledge, they are unable to penetrate into the mysterious region of transcendence. So therefore, for them, the Supreme Spirit is formless, nameless, and inactive. So that is the impersonal Brahman, that is supreme. Formless, nameless, inactive. That is the impersonal Brahman. So they think the impersonal Brahman is supreme, and when that impersonal Brahman comes into the world, it takes on material form. So that's the Mayavadis. And because such mental speculators equalize the transcendental name and form of the Lord with mundane names and form, they are in fact in ignorance. With such a poor fund of knowledge, there is no access to the real nature of the Supreme Being. Okay, so then now the next question is, okay, then how to understand the real nature of the Supreme? Savedadatu padavim parasya duranta viryasya ratangapane yo mayaya santadyanuvritya bhaje tatatpada sarojagandam. Only those who render unreserved, uninterrupted, favorable service under the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, who carries the wheel of the chariot in his hand, can know the creator of the universe in his full glory, power, and transcendence. Please read the purport.
Only the pure devotee can know the transcendental name, form, and activities of the Lord Krishna, due to their being completely freed from the reaction of fruitive works and mental speculation. The pure devotee have nothing to derive as a personal profit from their unalloyed service to the Lord. They render incessant service to the Lord spontaneously, without any reservation. Everyone within the creation of the Lord is rendering service to the Lord, indirectly or directly. No one is an exception to this law of the Lord. Those who are rendering service indirectly, being forced by the illusory agent of the Lord, are rendering service unto him unfavorably. But those who are rendering service unto him directly under the direction of his beloved agent are rendering service unto him favorably. Such a favorable servitor are devotees of the Lord, and by the grace of the Lord they can enter into the mysterious region of transcendence by the mercy of Lord. But the mental speculator remain in a darkness all the time. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord Himself guides the pure devotees towards the path of realization due to their constant engagement in the loving service of the Lord in spontaneous fashion. That is the secret of entering into the kingdom of God. Fruitive activities and speculation are no qualification for entering.
So here he's talking about what is the qualification to understand the Supreme Lord and enter into His kingdom. So here he's saying that one needs to perform devotional service. What type of devotional service? Amaya santataya anuvritya bhajeta tad pada saroj gandham. So there are three qualities to the devotional service. What are they? Without reservation, without any gap, and favorable. So of course all these are already covered in Savai Pumsam Paro Dharmo Yato Bhakti Radokshare Ahaituki Apratihata. So same meaning. Ahaituki means without reservation, without motivation. Apratihata means without gap, without interruption. And favorably Anukulyasya. So these things are repeated again and again. So there has to be a quality to the devotional service. That's most important. So we may all be performing devotional service, but as we progress, what we need to improve is this quality, the quality of devotional service. So gradually we must try to come to this platform that is being expected, and that is without any motive, without reservation, without interruption, favorably. So favorably means what Krishna likes. That is what is favorable. And Prabhupada is explaining these points. The pure devotees have nothing to derive as personal profit from their unalloyed service to the Lord, incessant service to the Lord spontaneously without any reservation. Okay. Then that is the secret of entering into the kingdom of God. They can enter into the mysterious region of transcendence by the mercy of the Lord. Prabhupada keeps repeating that point everywhere. By the mercy of the Lord. And then finally, the last verse of the section, we find Sutta Goswami is glorifying the questions of the sages. And he says, only by making such inquiries in this world can one be successful and perfectly cognizant, for such inquiries invoke transcendental ecstatic love unto the personality of Godhead, who is the proprietor of all the universes and guarantees 100% immunity from the dreadful repetition of birth and death. Okay. As Prabhupada says, the inquiries of the sages headed by Shaunaka are herewith praised by Sutta Goswami on the merit of their transcendental nature. So one who knows the personality of Godhead can automatically know all about Him, His multipotencies and His expansions. So the devotees are congratulated as being all successful. A 100% devotee of the Lord is immune to the dreadful material miseries of repeated birth and death. Okay. Now the last section of the chapter, from 40 to 44, Sutta Goswami is glorifying the Srimad Bhagavatam, and so many of these points we've already discussed in our first class. Text 40. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahma Samhitam Uttama Shloka Charitam Chakara Bhagavan Rishi Nishreyasaya Lokasya Dhanyam Swastayanam Maha. The Srimad Bhagavatam is a literary incarnation of God, and it is compiled by Srila Vyasadeva, the incarnation of God. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people, and it is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. All successful, all blissful, and all perfect. So Prabhupada writes, Srimad Bhagavatam should be worshipped as respectfully as we worship the Lord. Thereby we can derive the ultimate blessings of the Lord through its careful and patient study. So how to worship the Srimad Bhagavatam? By careful and patient study. So we already discussed what is the meaning of careful and patient. That also we discussed. So one cannot expect effects to take place immediately. Gradual. therefore patience. So this is the way one can receive the blessings of the Lord, the blessings of the Srimad Bhagavatam by careful and patient study. And then Prabhupada is quoting the instruction which Swarup Damodar Goswami gave to the Bengali poet, Bhagavat Podiya, Bhagavat Sthani. So person Bhagavatam is the self-realized bona fide spiritual master, and through him only can one understand the lessons of Bhagavatam in order to receive the desired results. One can derive from the study of the Bhagavatam all the benefits that are possible to be derived from the personal presence of the Lord. It carries with it all the transcendental blessings of Lord Shri Krishna that we can expect from his personal contacts. Next verse, he describes the parampara of the Bhagavatam. Tadidam grahyamasa sutam atmavadam varam sarva vede vihasanam saram saram samudritam. Shri Vyasadeva delivered to his son, who is the most respected among the self-realized, after extracting the cream of all Vedic literatures and the histories of the universe. Here, Srila Prabhupada is especially talking about, how Srimad Bhagavatam is the cream, saram, saram. Vedic literature is like the milk ocean of knowledge. Cream or butter is the most palatable essence of milk, and so also the Srimad Bhagavatam, for it contains all palatable, instructive, and authentic. So 3 words. Palatable. So it's very palatable. So it's very nice to hear because there are so many stories, so many pastimes. So it's palatable. At the same time, instructive. We learn so many instructions, and it is all authentic versions of different activities of the Lord and his devotees. And then he's talking about how one should hear from the authentic sources, not from professional Bhagavatam reciters who simply make a business of the Bhagavatam and become a cause of spiritual death for so many hearers. 42. Satu samshravayamasa maharajam parikshitam prayopavishtam gangayam paritam paramarshibhi. Shukadeva Goswami, the son of Vyasadeva, in an instant delivered the Bhagavatam to the great Emperor Parikshit, who sat surrounded by sages on the bank of the Ganges, awaiting death, without taking food or drink. Okay, and 43rd verse, famous verse, which is answer to which question? The 6th question. Krishne swadham upagate dharma jnana divisaha kalau nashta vishamesha puranarko dhunoditaha. This Bhagavad Puran is as brilliant as the sun, and it is rising just after the departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode, accompanied by religion, knowledge, etc. Persons who have lost their vision due to the dense darkness of ignorance in the age of Kali shall get light from this Puran. Okay. So Prabhupada is describing how the Lord descends into this world by his Atma Maya to reclaim the fallen souls and to re-establish the codes of religion, which are directly enacted by him. Either he or a suitable person empowered by him can dictate the codes of religion. Real religion means to know God, our relationship with him, our duties in relation with him, and to know ultimately our destination after leaving this material body. But in Kali Yuga, very difficult. Why? Prabhupada writes, in the Kali Yuga, population is just a royal edition of animals. Royal edition of animals. Only Prabhupada uses such amazing phrases. They have nothing to do with spiritual knowledge or godly religious life. They are so blind that they cannot see anything beyond the jurisdiction of the subtle mind, intelligence, or ego. But they are very much proud of their advancement in knowledge, science, and material prosperity. They can risk their lives to become a dog or hog just after leaving the present body. Prabhupada referred to that, I think I told in some of the previous class. So sometimes in the Western countries, somebody would say, what's wrong in becoming a dog? People have become so degraded. So therefore, the Lord has come as the Srimad Bhagavatam. Towards the end, he says, Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam are the torch bearers for the blind people of this age. In other words, if men in this age of Kali want to see the real light of life, they must take to these two books only, and their aim of life will be fulfilled. So Prabhupada is giving great emphasis on Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavad Gita is the preliminary study of the Bhagavatam, and Srimad Bhagavatam is the summum bonum of life, Lord Sri Krishna personified. We must therefore accept Srimad Bhagavatam as the direct representation of Lord Krishna. One who can see Srimad Bhagavatam can see also Lord Sri Krishna in person. They are identical. Text 44. Tatra kirtayato vipra viprarshe bhurite aham chatyatamam tatra nivishtastat anugraha soham va shravayishyami yatadhitam yatamati. O learned Brahmanas, when Shukadeva Goswami recited Bhagavatam there in the presence of Emperor Parikshit, I heard him with rapt attention, and thus by his mercy I learned the Bhagavatam from that great and powerful sage. Now I shall try to make you hear the very same thing as I learned it from him and as I have realized it. Purport.
One can certainly see directly presence of Lord Sri Krishna in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. If one has heard it from a self-realized great soul like Sukadeva Goswami. One cannot, however, learn Bhagavatam from a bogus hired reciter whose aim of life is to earn some money out of such recitation and employ the earning in sex indulgence. No one can learn Srimad Bhagavatam who is associated with the persons engaged in sex life. That is the secret of learning Bhagavatam. Nor can one learn Bhagavatam from one who interprets the text by his own mundane scholarship. One has to learn Bhagavatam from the representative of Sukadeva Goswami and no one else. If one at all wants to see Lord Sri Krishna in the pages, that is a process and there is no alternative. Sutta Goswami is a bona fide representative of Sukadeva Goswami because he wants to present the message which he received from the great learned Brahmana. Sukadeva Goswami presented Bhagavatam as he heard it from his great father, and so also Sutta Goswami is presenting Bhagavatam as he had heard it from Sukadeva Goswami. Simple hearing is not at all. Simple hearing is not at all.
Not all.
Not all. One must realize the text with proper attention. The word nivishta means that Sutta Goswami drank the juice of Bhagavatam through his ears. That is the real process of receiving Bhagavatam. One should hear with rapt attention from the real person, and then he can at once realize the presence of Lord Krishna in every page. The secret of knowing Bhagavatam is mentioned here. No one can give rapt attention who is not pure in mind. No one can be pure in mind who is not pure in action. No one can be pure in action who is not pure in eating, sleeping, hearing and mating. But somehow or other, if someone hears with rapt attention from the right person, at the very beginning, one can assuredly see Lord Krishna in the person in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam.
Okay, so it's a very important purport. How one can see Krishna in the pages of the Bhagavatam. So here Prabhupada is focusing on two important points. What are they? One is rapt attention and second is? Yes, bona fide source. So hearing from the bona fide source and hearing with rapt attention. And then he's explaining who can hear with rapt attention? One who is pure in mind. Who can be pure in mind? One who is pure in action. Who can be pure in action? One who is pure in eating, sleeping. Okay, so we all have this experience. So when we hear, either it is the Bhagavatam or it's the holy name, what's happening to the mind? Wandering, mind wandering. So this mind wandering is due to what? Yes, basically it's due to impurities of Rajagun. Rajagun and Tamagun, especially Rajagun. So the more the influence of Rajagun, one is not able to focus. And therefore, many devotees are talking about it these days, that as new people are coming to the movement, the observation is that attention span is reducing drastically. People don't have any attention span. So we see even people have their smartphones and then all the time they want to keep changing and see one thing in a few minutes, another thing. So no attention span, no attention span. Why? Because as Kali Yuga progresses, the influence of Rajagun and Tamagun increases. And so due to the influence of Rajagun, there's no attention span. Because of so many distractions in the mind is just distracting, pulling in so many different directions. Therefore, one is not able to focus. So therefore, the solution is, first of all, the more we purify our senses. So first of all, we have to engage the senses in the right direction. So the more purer the senses are, by engaging the senses in pure activities, then pure inputs go to the mind. And that's how the mind also gets purified. And so that's how when the mind gets purified, then the effects of Rajas and Tamas reduce, effect of Sattva increases, and more the Sattva increases, one is able to focus. So, and that's how we see that whenever we are in Sattva, we don't have some mental agitation, mental disturbance, then we're able to focus on hearing the holy name or hearing the Bhagavatam. But when the mind is disturbed due to previous day's activities or whatever, then we're not able to focus. So therefore, the more we become purer, the more we come to Sattva, then the more we are able to focus. But in any case, Prabhupada says, concludes by saying, but somehow or other, if someone hears with rapt attention from the right person, at the very beginning, one can assuredly see Lord Shri Krishna in person in the pages of the Bhagavatam. Okay, doesn't matter. Mind is wandering, senses are wandering, senses are disturbed. Still doesn't matter. Somehow sit and try to hear from the right person. So even though in India, even though people didn't have much interest in all these things, in all the spiritual activities, but still Srila Prabhupada mercifully gave the Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and then made it a rule that every day there must be Bhagavatam class, there must be Bhagavad Gita class. So then, even though there may not be much interest, still devotees are sitting and trying to hear, and then somehow trying to fulfill that instruction of Srila Prabhupada. And then by somehow trying to fulfill that instruction and pleasing Srila Prabhupada and the Acharyas, then there is hope for purification. Okay. So here, Sutta Goswami is saying that yes, I have heard it, Nivishta, I have heard it, perfectly attentive from Shukdev Goswami. And so, Tat Anugrahat, you can see, Tat Anugrahat, by His mercy, I learnt. So nobody can learn anything by one's own endeavors. It all happens by mercy. Tad Anugrahat. By His mercy I learnt, and that very same thing, Saha, Aham, Vaha, unto you, Shravashyami, I shall make you hear that very same thing, Yathaditam, Yathamati, as far as my realization goes, that much I will speak. And what is meant by realization? That we will discuss in the first verse of the next chapter. Thus, the Bhagavatam purports of the first canto, third chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam entitled Krishna is the source of all incarnations. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Radha Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Samved Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Attendance, please.